What up, Yang Gang? Welcome back. It's still the 4th of March, and we're doing your daily news. What we got on the low today, Mia?
Today we're going to talk about how the stimulus bill is moving to the Senate. Today, the Senate voted to open debate on the president's stimulus bill 51-50, with Vice President Harris breaking the tie, through the process of reparations. The bill received no support across the aisle under direction from Mitch McConnell. It's unlikely that any will change their positions for the final package. The Senate will debate and amend in a process that could play out through the weekend, and afterwards will move back to the House for approval before being sent to the desk of the president. Nancy Pelosi has stated that the final version of the bill will pass the House. No matter how long it takes, the Senate is going to stay in session to finish the bill this week, Schumer said. It is time to tell the American people that help is on the way. Moderate Democrats have successfully pushed Biden into narrowing the scope of the third round of stimulus checks. The changes agreed on by Biden and Senate Democrat leadership now extend in full to individuals earning $75,000 per year and couples earning $150,000, but end entirely for individuals earning more than $80,000 and couples earning more than $160,000 annually. The minimum wage raise to $15 an hour was also removed to ensure the majority. With limited time before certain protections pass, some argue the changes are necessary, while others criticize the willingness to fold on such key issues.
Man, you know, the sad thing is, with their latest self-negotiation, I guess you'd call it, they've eliminated 12 million to 13 million people from qualifying for the stimulus package that got it last time. So they got it last time. They voted for Joe Biden, and they voted for the Democrats in Georgia to flip the House or the Senate with the promise of $2,000 a check. Now it's been down to $1,400 through a bunch of mental gymnastics bullshit. And now 12 to 13 million of those people aren't getting it now at all. I don't know, man. That's how you lose a midterm. Once again, like we said before, they're on their way to losing the midterms. And I don't understand, why do you have to beg for money every month when the tax breaks they give out are for like a year or two? They gave out the corporate tax breaks for the economic relief was for a year or two, and some of it was 3 years. But we got to beg every goddamn month. It just doesn't make sense.
One thing I will say is that after having received checks previously and not getting one this time, I am fairly certain there's going to be a large amount of complaining happening regarding that. So we may see some forward movement from that, just from the amount of people who are going to be very angry. Like the amount of pissed off I would be if I was expecting to get a check and I did not, would not be sit down and shut up about it, pissed off.
Right. Well, especially if you were making $160,000 as a couple. This is based off of 2018's tax returns. 3 years ago. 2 years ago in the tax cycle, right? It's not off the one in 2020 or 2019. It's off of 2018's tax returns. So you could have owned a business. You could have owned your own, like a restaurant per se, that shut down rather quickly, you know? So you could have been making great money 2 years ago, and now you don't qualify. You barely qualified with the last round of checks, and it helped you out. And now you're out because of a 2-year-old thing. It should be universal across the board. And then at the end of the year, whoever isn't hurting, just claws it back at tax time. It's just that simple. Democrats and the Republicans are just stupid beyond all measure. Means testing is meant to exclude. And when you exclude people, there's always people that fall through the cracks with these means testing exclusions. Unintended consequences by innocent bystanders, if you will, of this assault on logic. I mean, yes.
The between the GDP growth and the health and improvement of the population, we've seen that UBI does more than just pay for itself. So, yeah, it's all about maintaining a certain power structure so that way labor could be exploited. There's really nothing else to it, and that's what we have to fight against.
Well, and the biggest complaint they have is if you give it to people that don't need it, they're just going to save it. But when we give tax breaks out to the richest people in this country, they're not going to spend the money. They're just going to save it or buy back their own stock.
The people they're letting have it are a lot of them are going to be on Social Security and welfare and the kinds of things that if you have certain amounts saved up in the bank, they will literally punish you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that concern can be pretty well thrown out the window at the stage they're at right now. And also, why shouldn't people be allowed to save? What if another pandemic comes and they use that money they saved in that rainy day emergency? Why would you be telling people what to do with money that they need right now? And if they don't need it right now, why would you tell them that they can't save it for when they do need it?
Either way, it's like you want freedom, but with strings attached. You want to stimulate the economy, but with strings attached. But we want to give away tax breaks with no string attached and no oversight whatsoever. There's still like $1 trillion in some account for businesses. Like, what are they waiting on?
Yep.
I think it's just under $1 trillion they haven't spent from the last package. Like, what are we doing with that money? I know they're putting out a lot of money now for what do you call it? They enacted the military act where you can convert. I think it's Johnson & Johnson and another company are working together to get the vaccines out. They've moved some resources over to that for the actual virus challenges, but I don't know, man. We passed all this money, we printed money with a click of a mouse, and it's there to help. And businesses continue to close, continue to fail. Here in Michigan, guys, I'm just be real with you, man. It's not good. My girlfriend works at a school. Her son is going remote for the rest of the next 2 weeks because they don't have enough teachers and staff because of COVID. It's still here, guys. It's not like, oh, let your guard down. Not like Texas and Mississippi's backward asses. Let's act like nothing ever happened. Back to normal.
Good my town's just losing all of its fun stuff. Like, we no longer have a theater. We had one theater in town.
Your theater closed?
Mm-hmm. And there was a gaming store that's closed. So no more D&D books from there.
Wow.
Yeah. We're losing a lot of small businesses in rural communities, even if we're not getting the same level of, issues with students being out and such. Here we're getting different kinds of economic hits that are altogether an entirely different beast, but still just as miserable.
It's super frustrating, to say the least. But yeah, so the checks are going out eventually, and now Chuck Schumer's like, oh, we're not leaving until this weekend. Come on, man. Then it's going to have to go back to the House, and it's going to get passed, and yakety yak. The states and the county governments needed this months ago. I don't know, like January 7th would have been, or January 22nd would have been nice.
One of the biggest delays that's going to be happening is one of the senators is forcing them to read through the entire 600-page bill.
They're going to read it out loud tomorrow. I wish I had the time to sit through that and live stream it. Well, here's a question. Mia, what are you going to do with your stimulus check?
Oh, let's see. There's about 1 billion things I need to do. It's just a matter of deciding what's the top priority. One thing I want to do is my eldest son has a hand-me-down bed that is very uncomfortable for him. He's been complaining about it for something like 4 years now. And that is just horrible. And I would really like to replace his bed for him. And
yeah, that's a good chunk right there.
Yeah, it's a good chunk.
Yeah, it is. Beds are expensive.
That's like half the money we'll get for him right there,
Mm-hmm.
if not more. For Tristan, I'd like to get him another backup tablet because he is difficult with them. So, he'll throw them and they will break very easily. And I have to buy the really durable cases. And there's a whole process when you're trying to deal with somebody whose disability causes them not to understand the consequences of treating things with abandon.
Right. Yeah, that's tough.
So
It's hard.
replacing that sort of stuff. I'd like to get a new dining room table. We haven't had one of those in a couple of years now.
But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys are going to do with your stimulus check. So let us know what you're going to do with yours in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys are going to do because it gives me hope. I might buy a couch. I've never bought a couch in years, and my couch I got now, that baby's worn out. I ain't gonna lie, is what the cushions in the middle are. But yeah, let us know what you guys are gonna do with that in the comments section. I'd like to hear some inspiring or hopeful, uplifting comments about what you'll do with your check. But yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you guys next time. And like always, gang gang.